Ah, we caught it early. No sound. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate that. Always good to fix that early on. All right, let's get ready to rumble. So, last week, what were we doing last week? We were working on that Voyager, I'm not going to say replica mission, but it was definitely a heavily inspired by the Voyager mission. We were building a probe we were going to send out on a mission to explore Jupiter and Saturn in the real solar system in SimpleRockets 2, courtesy of Hypattion, who developed the system. It is a 1-to-1 scale replica of our actual solar system in-game. So that's what we were doing. And we had a design. I was trying to stay true to the actual rocket that flew the Voyager mission some 43 years ago. I realized I'm not actually a rocket scientist and don't know enough about rockets to be able to do that. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to build a generic launch vehicle that can get us into orbit. And Jacob Daniel says it's back, and I already know what is back. And oh boy, here we go again. All right, here are our options. I'm going to get this out of the way now. Here are our options. We can either deal with the clicking until I replace the audio jack on my computer, or I do have a backup mic on this that shouldn't it shouldn't make clicking, and I believe I can switch over to this pretty quickly. If I go into my sound settings. So what do you guys think? Should I change my microphone source? If I can, if it'll let me. I could also turn up noise suppression and noise gate and try and like filter out that noise. Maybe we'll try that. Okay. Let's try that. Idiot99 is talking about... Oh, not the clicking noise. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. As long as it's the sound we want to get through that's coming through, that's good. That latency makes it hard to talk sometimes. All right, so we are good to go then. So this is the design I came up with over the past week I've been working on. It's pretty bare bones, but it does get the job done. So what we have, I'll give you the tour, is we have our, I believe we decided last week we were calling this the Janeway. So that is our probe right here. The probe sits on top of the stack like that. This is the probe itself. Everything here just connects it. Oh, shoot. There we go. Everything else just connects it. This is our upper stage, which is just this fuel tank right here. And then we have a full flow staged methane rocket right here with optimized for space travel out of atmosphere. So we have as long of a nozzle as possible, as short of a throat, and it's a very small engine. A lot of force. A lot of force though. This thing actually generates a lot of force. Not on top of that, but supporting that, we have our main stage here. We'll call this stage 1. And stage 1 is basically the same engine, but it's slightly scaled up, and we have optimized it for sea level, so it has a smaller nozzle, still a relatively small throat size here, but on the outer stages, same size nozzle, but I've scaled up the throat size, and that's because these outer stages are going to burn out first. Stream latency is 26 seconds right now. Well, thank you for calculating that. You can 2 times speed it and get it down to 6. Interesting. All right, so anyway, these fuel tanks here are the same, but these outer engines burn through their fuel first, and the middle engine's going to be burning the whole time. But I have the side interstages here set to fuel transfer normal, so they're going to take fuel from the outer stage and pour it into the inner stage. And so what that's going to do is when our side boosters run out of fuel, we'll be, maybe 20,000, 30,000 meters up, and we're still going to have a fully fueled 4-stage with plenty of thrust-to-weight ratio to keep accelerating. So that is the plan. That is the whole plan, as far as I have devised it. There's one thing we can do to make sure we have enough thrust-to-weight ratio, because after these separate, it's just going to be this guy lifting it, and it doesn't quite have... It's got 0.89, which isn't terrible, but maybe bring this up just a bit. So all right, that has at least 1 G of acceleration on this core stage on its own. So I think I'm happy with it. We've got 3 main engines here on the ground. They burn. Side interstages fire, and then we have this interstage up here. I'm actually going to flip this around. Fairing's going to go before the side interstage, before the second interstage, and then we have the payload. Payload, and then the ion engine. Oh, I just realized I have this flipped around. Wrong. This is wrong. Whoops. We need to make a correction here. This isn't going to work properly. This is the interstage. This is actually just a fuel tank that we edited with a little bit of advice from someone watching the stream last week. This is actually not an interstage. This is a fuel tank with the texture changed. So we need to add... I guess we should add another interstage. Just slap it on right there. Connect it. And then... I guess we could just turn that off, huh? Yeah, we could just turn that off. Or have it, like, separate last. Yeah, so let's put that one up there. So that interstage will separate. Yeah, that's fine. It'll deploy properly. So I need to reduce the length of this ever so slightly to accommodate for it. One more. Will that do it? We're about to find out. All right, if it fits in the fairing, I think we're going to be ready to launch it. It fits in the fairing. Okay, so let's check staging one more time. Everything is correct. Let's go ahead and move this bad boy out to the launch pad. And while we're moving out to the launch pad, what do we have? Don't need to calculate, right click for stats for nerds. Good to know. Titan 3 looks nothing like this. What is... Yeah, the Titan 3, we have deviated far from the Titan 3 from last week. We are going for like a... I don't want to say a bastardization of the Falcon 9. It's almost like... You know what it is? It's a cross between the Falcon 9 Heavy and the Delta 4. Because the Falcon 9 Heavy kind of has that shape, but the Delta 4 has the 3 engines on the bottom, whereas the Falcon 9 has 9 engines on each of its bottom stages. So it's kind of, yeah, it's a cross between a Delta Heavy and a Falcon. We'll call it the Falcon Heavy and the Delta Heavy. What should we call this launch vehicle? It's a cross between the Delta 4 and the Falcon Heavy. We'll call it the Falcon 4. It has 4 engines. I'm going to go with Falcon 4 until anyone comes up with literally any name that's better than Falcon. But we're going to go ahead and kick this puppy off the launch stand here. Let's see. Set our heading. Lock it. Throttle up. I'm not going to touch autopilot for now. I've got my orbit stats and performance stats pulled up here. Throttle up. We are ready for launch. 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition and liftoff. And right away we can tell we are coming off the launch pad with some vigor. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Okay, so I need to roll to a line with my heading going east out of here. And then I'm going to start pitching over. So right away, one of the ways you can tell that these engines are not optimized for the same level in the atmosphere is these outer stages are pretty well optimized for this altitude, but you can see we've got shock diamonds on that center stage. And those shock diamonds tell us, well, they're gone now, but they were telling us that we were underperforming a little bit at that altitude. But now that we're moving up to a better altitude, this core stage is performing better, and the outer stages are now starting to underperform. So that's one little nuance of doing non-standard engines here. Falcon 3 be like, yep. Why am I launching from the runway? Because I was too lazy to build a launch rig for the actual pads, and I didn't want to deal with that right now. And that is my actual answer. We're going to go ahead and pitch over and get ready for a gravity turn. As soon as my time to orbit, yep, 75 seconds in climbing, so we're going to go ahead and align prograde there. Shock diamonds equal bad. Shock diamonds mean you're not at 100% efficiency because of expansion issue. But at the same time, like, shock diamonds are just as bad as this right here, where the engines are under expanding right now. They were over expanding earlier. It's a loss of efficiency is what that equates to. All right, I'm going to throttle down a little bit, actually. Actually, no, I'm going to throttle back up because we just separated our side stages, and our thrust-to-weight ratio is down to 1G, and we're out of the atmosphere now. 0 grams atmospheric density, 0 grams per cubic meter. Engine thrust at 1,186 kilonewtons, slightly higher than 1G of acceleration right now. We're just burning prograde, and we'll time warp because this is just a long burn into orbit. And I don't think this gets us into orbit. This shouldn't get us into orbit. We will have to burn our second stage a little bit. Onion staging, I believe the term is asparagus staging, and sort of, yes, it is. We did use that style of staging where they were transferring fuel into the center fuel tank. 39. Okay, we'll use 39C next time. I've apparently not experimented with every single launch pad here. I always just defaulted to the one launch pad, I guess. That's good to know. All right, where are we now? Things looking good. 70 seconds out. I think we can afford to keep pointing this direction. We're going to go ahead and do 4 times time acceleration. Burn through the rest of this. We have a little over 2.5 Gs of acceleration now, so we're starting to really get some thrust here. Still a minute out from apoapsis, which is good for timing, and we are approaching orbital velocity pretty quick here. So we're just going to need a little bit of fuel from our second stage to get in orbit. All right, second stage is burning. Coming up on a thrust-to-weight ratio of 2 to 1. And, okay, we're going to throttle down, actually. And kind of cruise into orbit a little bit smoother here. Going to point just directly at the horizon. Get as much velocity going here as possible. Okay. We're going to wait until we're at apoapsis, which is now. We'll finish our orbital insertion burn here. We should have a little over 4,000 meters per second of delta V when this is all said and done. Throttle down. We are in orbit, and we have 4,500 meters per second of delta stage. Pretty good. Let's see what the chat has to say. Onion staging is where all the boosters drain into the center ones. Asparagus does it in pairs. Okay. So I guess this is both then, since there's only 2 boosters. They technically are doing it in pairs, since both of them are doing it. That would technically be both onion and asparagus staging, I guess? I don't know. We are in orbit, though. Too many satellites. Yeah, we launched a bunch of satellites. Actually, turn those off so we don't have to look at them. Now, we need a ton of delta V. to get to Jupiter's orbit, right? We need a ton of delta V to get into Jupiter's orbit. But what we don't need a ton of delta V to get into Mars orbit and then do a bunch of gravity assists. That's my original plan, is to do a Mars gravity assist up to Jupiter's orbit and then rinse and repeat until we can get up to Saturn's orbit, and then rinse and repeat until we can get out of the system. Because that burn right there is almost all of our second stage's delta V, with a couple hundred meters per second of delta V left over, gets us here, which is not all the way orbit, obviously. What we're going to do, we're going to target Mars. Now I'm going to time warp around to the transfer window. Let's see. Getting out of the solar system. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you got to swing for the stars. If you swing for the stars, what is it? If you swing for the stars, you may land on the moon or something. So maybe this mission will end with us getting a lunar encounter when it's all said and done. I think we're pretty close. Target my craft and zoom in on it. Okay. This is Earth, and we need to burn here. And we need to burn out to Mars like so. And I don't want to do that yet. Okay, let's see. So we are still too far behind Mars for an encounter. No, trash can it. I'm gonna time warp forward some more. Okay, try it now. Oh, it's like behind the planet, basically. Okay. So I want this point. Wait a second. Yeah, that point in the orbit should be at midnight, basically. And then let's turn my sensitivity all the way up, because this is a big old burn here. Okay. Oh, we're just ahead. We're just ahead. Okay. Well, if we're just ahead, we can make some course corrects here, so that we catch it on the flip side. We're really close. What we need to do is correct our inclination. Oh, and we're really close in this regard too. We like pass right in front of it. All right. Yeah, the quote is, if you shoot for the moon, you might end up among the stars. But yeah, I think in this situation, we're going to shoot for the stars, and we may just end up in orbit around the sun, which is fine. Okay, so what we're trying to do now is take this orbit, get an encounter, and I need less. Oh, so close, right there, right. Oh, right there, right there, right there. More, as we cross. Nope, that was the wrong direction. Also the wrong direction. Okay, like right. Hard to see it. Looking at it in a 3D space. Right there. Could the force of an ion engine theoretically lift a piece of paper? Sure, it could. Yeah, it could lift a piece of paper. It can't lift itself, though. So if you put a piece of paper on an ion engine and then sat it on your table and like lit it, like ran an ion engine, ion engines are heavy, and so it wouldn't do anything. But like, yeah, if it were just the paper, sure. Like you could flip it, like okay, flip it around. Ion engine's pointing up, and you put a piece of paper on the exhaust of the ion engine. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Assuming you could like keep it from falling off. It's a bit too late to time warp. Yeah, we could time warp, but we would go the other way. Like we would keep time warp, if that makes sense. We would just like go around it for the next window. But I'm gonna try and I can grab the node. It's not letting me. Hello. It's not letting me make that adjustment. I want to make that adjustment. Okay. How much does 1 meter per second change? Oh, it changes it a ton. That's really close. Ah, it's so close. Let's go 1 more meter per second. Let's see. 4274. Where does that put us? Oh, it puts us so close still. Okay, I think now is the time to start adjusting our inclination to get this encounter. I think we want to burn this way. I think we do. We probably also want to turn our up a little bit. Oh, and we're going the wrong direction now. That's cool. Go back a little bit. This is what the rest of this stream is going to be, guys, is just me fiddling with maneuver nodes. Get an intercept with a planet that I'm like not really in line to get an intercept with, but we're so close. And we got some serious fuel to work with. Did the lines actually that's the question. Do these lines actually cross? No, they don't really cross, do they? What I should worry about is getting them to cross first. Move this over here for a second. I know that's, yeah, it's too far, sure. But at some point, this line crosses the plane of this other line. Right? Like, that's how that works. It has to. And I want to catch it right there. Ah, where am I missing this? Now it's too far ahead. We can adjust radial out. Yeah, that's moving it in the right direction. Too far. Okay, just a little adjustment. Little adjustment. Turn my sensitivity down, make another little adjustment. Ooh, we're close. $15. $15.97 is so far the best we've got. $14, better. $13. All right, we're moving in the right direction now, guys. $12. Like 1100 right in here. Down under 1100. Coming up on 1000, but I think that's as far as it's going to go that way. And then we're back to so close, so close. Keep making adjustments. That's too far. Is it? Yeah. Okay, this is as close as we've gotten so far. Yes, gravity assists work. All right, so Stellar Suborbital is saying go for Venus. We could go for Venus. Let's see what Venus would cost us just to get to its orbit. Because that's not so far not panning out. Zoom in, zoom in. in. Grab it right there. And, oh, I should probably turn my sensitivity up, or we might be here for a long time. Nope, wait, nope. No, if I'm going what am I doing? If I'm going to Venus, I burn at noon. I burn on the sunlight side of the planet, not the night side of the planet. All right, so we're going to go here. There we go. Now my orbit is actually dropping. And that was too far. Right. So that, yeah, that's cheaper to get to its orbit. At least its orbit height, roughly. Yeah, that's 600 meters per second cheaper, basically. But we are so heavily inclined, and Venus is inclined too, so getting that intercept, getting the intercept is going to be the expensive part, right? Okay, we're gonna get rid of all that. We're just gonna burn out like that, and then you know what? We could do a plane correction once we're out. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's quick save. I'm gonna lock this in, and we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna try for it. At the very least, we're gonna get outside of Drew's sphere of influence, because planning maneuvers for encounters in another sphere of influence beyond the one you're in, it's a little frustrating, a little weird in SimpleRockets 2. So we're going to just get out of Drew's sphere of influence. And then we're gonna start trying to work out a gravity assist from there. How do you get the Jupiter equivalent in this game? So I'm playing, you can download it off the website. It's called Real Solar Systems. It is a planet pack that you can download. And it has the whole solar system, minus some moons. But it's got all the major planetary bodies that you would want to visit. If you are interested in it, that is how you do it. I'm going to time warp here a little bit. We still got a little ways to go in this burn. Alright, I'm going to throttle down, let my second stage finish off this burn. Yeah, Venus is in a weird orbit. What happened to Pluto? Pluto is a dwarf planet. And so I don't think it's included. Alright, we're in an orbit that's going to send us out. I'm gonna time warp to escaping Earth's sphere of influence. So goodbye, Earth. Everyone say goodbye to Earth. We are leaving it, and this ship is not coming back to Earth. Probably. Okay, now we can start working on actual maneuvers. We have 745 meters per second of delta V left in this stage, which is a lot. That is a lot to work with. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the planet orbits go away. We're just looking at Venus and our craft's orbit. And what I'm going to do, the way I like to do inclination changes in this game without having to worry about a bunch of math, is line them up like that. That's it. And that burn is so much more than what we can afford to. Of course. Yep, that's too much. That is too much for us to do. That is a big inclination. How do we put ourselves on an interplanetary orbit when our launch site is 36 degrees off baseline? Oh, Bravo is asking, delta V isn't proportional. Yeah, so delta V, if you just download RSS and you don't have any mods installed, then RSS is going to be pretty tricky. I'm using Realistic Engine Overhaul, which unnerfs the engines to make them more effective in this game. Okay, so let's start planning. Maybe what I can do, instead of trying to get an inclination change 100%, is just get these orbits to touch and then wait for an encounter, right? Just like wait to get it. Like any shift, any significant shift in orbit is going to totally eat my delta V budget. So let's go. We'll burn it apoaps. Man, even doing that just eats my fuel. And that does nothing. That basically does nothing. What to do, what to do. We could start over. That might be what we're doing. All right, we're going to quick load. There's a reason I quick saved before we started that burn. All right, so Venus is not the move. We're not doing a Venus gravity assist. We're going to go back to our Mars gravity assist because I was a whole lot closer to getting that Mars gravity assist. Venus is like the whole deal with Venus is it's way off. Just so not ideal. So we're not going to do it. We're just not going to do that burn. I'm going to delete that, and we're going to start over looking at Mars again. Select it, target it, and we're going to get rid of all the other planets' orbits and icons. We're just looking at us. Just looking at us and Mars right now. Let's plan our burn again. We're going to try this all again. One more shot. What's my next destination? We're trying to get a gravity assist from Mars. We're trying to go to Mars to get a gravity. And that's where we are getting stumped. Is stumped the word here? That's where we're struggling. Let's phrase it that way. Okay, I can make this burn, which does get our orbits a lot closer, and then if I burn retrograde a little bit, turn my sensitivity down maybe, so I'm not like overshooting every time I touch the controls. Okay. Back to the fine tuning of this orbital encounter. Yeah, so we got to get our got to get the path across there. Okay, hold on. We're a little wonky. This is going to take a while. Yes, it is. Has anyone ever told you that spaceflight is not easy? It's not. It's hard. Kind of part of the deal. We're doing a lot of guess and check right now, trying to get this right. Off. Go off. I'm going to take all of my radial burn out of this. Or not my radial burn, but my my inclination change. Okay, right there. That's all the inclination burn. I'm going to go back to burning like this. I could also try to hit it. I could try to hit it going out, right? I could change by burning radial in or radial out. I could change my orbit. That. Getting close. This might be the better way to go about it. Close-ish. Except we're not even in the right plane, right? Like, oh, frick. Nope, that's not, all right. That's not gonna work. It doesn't have it. That mod doesn't exist. Is the short answer. They may include it in the next update that they're working on with career mode, but I can tell you right now, I know that mod doesn't exist. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's an actual point where our orbits touch, right? Not only our orbital planes, but our actual orbit crosses right there. So that's good. That tells us we're really close. We just need to move that point like here. And maybe a little faster. So I'm burning radial out. There we go. There we go. All right, now we're making real progress here. Under 1,000 million meters, or is that 1,000 millimeters? Is a gigameter, right? Megameters, gigameters, a billion meters. We're under a billion meters right there. So I need to get this point just to drop, going the other way. Yeah, Cape Canaveral is a big booty. Big old pile of stinking crap right now. What I would give to be launching my rockets from somewhere on the equator. Shoot, I lost it. I was moving in the right direction. Now that was too far. Whatever I just did, too much. We went the wrong way. Yep, we're going the wrong way. Hold on, we gotta go back this way. No, and then we need to go this way. Okay, so these two. Oh, we're like right. There we go. That's as close as we've gotten. 720, almost under 700 million meters. I think Hawaii's still too far, even still too far north. Nope, that's right. 600. Oh, I think, does that touch? Does that do something? Hold on. Exit sphere of influence. Enter sphere of influence. Oh, it does. All right, we've got our encounter. We have an encounter. Oh, hi patch. Why would you do that? You had a launch site on the equator and then you deleted it. Yeah, why? Why would you do that? It's because you're a masochist. That's got to be it. You like to see suffering. Because you're watching me suffering for your entertainment right now. But we've done it. We've actually done it. We have a 2.6 minute long burn in 16 minutes. That gets us an encounter I'm going for. And I think we'll have 300 meters per second of delta V left if this is accurate. So we'll have enough fuel for a correction burn. Plus we have our ion engine once we're out of fuel on this stage. Guam's too far south. I know that. Guam is in the Southern Pacific. South of Japan, kind of in the South China Sea. It is not on the equator either. Mexico. If we annex Mexico, right? If the U.S. annexes Mexico, then we could launch from the equator. I'm just saying. And we just it's like a whole. It would just be like a formality. Like we would let them do their own thing. We wouldn't interfere. It'd be a territory, and we would just have a launch facility when we leave them alone. We could build a launch facility in Mexico. Do that. That's sarcastic. I'm not I'm not advocating for the annexation of Mexico. Canada, however, we should annex. We should annex Canada. If you're Canadian, I'm sorry. That's just how it is. It's got to be like that sometimes. All right. 10 seconds out. I'm going to slow time down. Let the computer get as accurate of a throttle down as possible so we don't overshoot too much, because we're so close, guys. We're so close on this orbit here. I hear Mexico has plenty of oil this time around. Oh yeah, there we go. Well, what's funny is, like, people say, like, oh, the U.S. is going to invade because of oil. The U.S., like Alaska and some of the northern states in the U.S. are so oil rich. It's like crazy how much they've got there. But they're just not allowed to take advantage of it due to, like, climate law, or not climate law, but like environmental policies, which is great, I guess. The downside is, like, okay, so if we can't get our oil in our own states, then we'll just let a country that doesn't have the same environmental laws, get our oil, and we'll import it in. Which is actually ends up being worse for the environment, because not only do you still negatively impact the environment from extracting the oil, but then you doubly impact the environment by having to ship it and, like, burn fuel to ship the fuel, which is just like it's such an absurd thing. Like, we're double screwing ourselves over, basically. We are not quite on a intercept here. We could be, though. We're close. We're close, guys. Oh, we're close. You know what I want? You know what I want super bad? Like, in Kerbal Space Program, at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there was the little maneuver node thing, and it was just like a orthogonal projection of this maneuver node thing. This guy right here. It was just in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And the fact that SimpleRockets doesn't have that, and I have to, like, look back there and, like, try to get both in frame when I'm planning these maneuvers, frustrates me to no, like, you have no idea how mindless this is. Try and get these. So, oh, we're so close. Oh, we're so close. Nope. Gotta go this way. Right? Okay, so if we don't have enough fuel for... what do we have? We have 336 meters per second of delta V to work with here. I'm going to delete that burn. We're going to make another burn closer. We're going to try this again. Okay. Let's not do that yet. Let's just adjust. Yeah, we overshot. I know that. Let's go back to there. That's really close. We're super close. 950. 60, that's not close. That's not. $890, there we go. Hold on, we're making some progress here. 880. 950, nope. 90, okay, we're gonna turn our sensitivity down again. I think this is where we have to look at our inclination. Not that way. There she is. Oh, and it's not that much. It's only 100 meters per second. Oh, it's only 100 meters per second. Oh, sweet joy. Lock and warp. And we're going to do this at quarter speed. Yeah, when in doubt, use the red node. No, there is a method to the madness of making those adjustments. You like try to line it up until it's just the inclination, and then you adjust the inclination. So you're like your two points of closest point of approach, right? Like here's your craft and here's your target at the closest point of approach, and you just try to get them lined up, and then use the red nodes to increase or decrease the separation. We're still ways out. There we go. One. I'm going to do this at quarter speed. We're going to take it nice and slow. I want the computer to get as close to accurate with this as possible. The disadvantage, I'm using... Oh, we got it. All right. Perfect. We got our approach. The disadvantage to using the full flow staged combustion cycle is the throttle time makes planning nodes super inaccurate. When still in doubt, sensitivity 0. Yeah, sensitivity 0 actually turns it off. Sensitivity of 1%. Okay, 314 million meters away. That's our current closest point of approach. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to periapsis. 2.4 years, that's the wrong order. I screwed something up. Hold on. There we go. Okay, now that I'm on the right orbit, I want to put a maneuver node right there. And we're going to turn the planets back on, because we're not putting ourselves in orbit. No, sir. We are putting ourselves on a trajectory for eventually Saturn. But we're going to start with Jupiter. Okay. We're trying to get... Our end goal is to end up on Jupiter's orbital plane and roughly the same apogee. That is what we're trying to do here. Now, I want to see how that affects this little line. So what I'm going to try to do is make changes to our orbit such that our second orbit, right? Because like right now, I'm adjusting our current orbit we're on, and I want this other orbital line to feel the impact. Like that. What mission is this? We are exploring the universe. In a nutshell, that's what we're doing, right? Okay, hold on. So that got us... That got us somewhere. What does burning prograde do? Nothing? Might not do anything for us. What about retro? Let's turn our sensitivity up. We do have a little bit of fuel to work. That brings us back. Oh, there we go. Okay, you see that big shift? So what that tells me right there, where our orbit changes a lot, from the current orbit we're on, which is this orbit right here, to the orbit that we will be on after our encounter with Mars. This time it's actually Mars. That tells me that we are we're going to pass close to Mars. Because our orbit is changing a lot, that means Mars is having a large effect on our orbit. That means we're close to Mars. So, now that I am close to Mars, we're going to start... Okay, right there. Right there. That is as close. If I adjust inclination, that's as close as we're going to get to Mars. SR2 can be more realistic if they switch the physics from Newton-based to general relativity-based. That's impossible. So no. I don't think you understand like Newtonian. Do you mean like the Newtonian two-body equations versus n-body equations? Which is still using not general relativity, it's still using like macroscopic physics and laws of attraction. We're not doing any general relativity. I don't know why you would want to use general relativity to model these systems, because that would really increase the complexity without creating any appreciable change in quality. Okay, so, oh, hey, we got a collision with Mars. That's not what we want, but that's cool. What we want is to get on the same orbital plane as Jupiter, and I think that gets us a collision. Children of a dead Earth. Okay, hold on. We're going to take a little pause here. Children of a dead Earth. Is it a physics sandbox like SimpleRockets 2, or is it a totally different genre of game? Oh, I know what game you're talking about. Yeah, Children of a Dead Earth. I'm familiar with it. That game does use general relativity, yes, but it is a totally different genre of game. So it wouldn't. I don't think that implementing that kind of physics into this kind of game is going to have the effect you think it's going to have. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Now, I'm trying to figure out what can I do to change my orbit now that's going to... I guess going prograde here, moving it out, but then it seems to stop. That doesn't help us at all. Yeah, that doesn't help us at all. Because we're losing our encounter with Mars. If that, turn the sensitivity back down. That puts us on a more eccentric orbit, which is not what we want. How much the gameplay would change? It would not change hardly at all. Except it would you wouldn't be able to run the game. That the impact that using general relativity to model SimpleRockets 2 physics would have, if you were to try to do it accurately, is your CPU wouldn't be able to handle it, and it would crash your computer. And that is all it would do. Because Children of a Dead Earth kind of uses general relativity, but not really general relativity. It's hard to explain. You know what? We're going to lock this orbit in, because this gets us as close to Mars as we can get right now. And it'll be a whole lot easier to plan this burn when we're close to Mars versus far away from Mars. So I'm going to do that. We're just going to go for it. Turn, climb down. Ow! Mother trucker. Remember what I was saying about full flow engines being bad for fine-tuning maneuvers? That's what I meant. Right there. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this manually. And just like tap, shift, and then immediately cut my engine. Okay. Cool, I guess. Now we need to start actually planning this move. If I burn at periap, I suppose I could drastically change my orbit by burning at periap. How much fuel, how much delta V? I have 138 meters per second of delta V to work with. Yeah, gas gen has its advantages for sure. Oop, nope. Okay, that's having no effect. Although I suppose burning at periapsis is probably not going to have that much of an effect until we do like a large change in delta. Let's burn right at the edge of the sphere of influence though and see what that would theoretically have larger effect on our orbit, theoretically. Still nothing. Okay, so we need to burn. We definitely need to burn like out here. That's what I'm seeing. What can we do? Gets us up to the plane. That gets us nothing. That gets... Are we just not on the right approach for this maneuver? Like, all we've managed to do is drop our periapsis. Which is the opposite of what I wanted to happen. Unless, you know what we could do is drop our periapsis and get a Venus transfer or something. Are we? No. We're not in a good inclination to do a Venus transfer either. Really. Man, I wish I knew what I was doing, guys. Let's see what burning prograde gets us. Nothing. It gets us nothing. Grav assists are hard. Okay, that made a bit of a dip difference there. Like that's where we were. That's better. That's a better place to be. What we might try doing is ditching this. No, because ditching the fuel tank doesn't mean that it's going to be any easier to get an actual chain. Oh, that was it. Okay, whatever I just did. For just a split second there, it puts us on a big out of the solar system trajectory. Right? Anyone else see that? Just me? Or is that a glitch? That might just be a glitch. Okay. Okay, so we've got this big change in inclination. Here we go. Okay, so that puts us... I mean, that's not a ton, but that is the most I've gotten out of any... Hold on, I'm going to adjust again. That's progress right there. Okay. So you see what we've done? Our orbit now goes beyond Mars's orbit significantly. Like, that is a very, very big change in energy, going from here to here, which is what we're doing now. Now, how do I capitalize on that? Okay. So we're on one side of Mars right now. I can collide with Mars, and then I'm on the other side of Mars. And that gives us a better trajectory. Here we go. Okay, now I'm moving in the right direction. We're gonna adjust our orbit down. Out, 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 out. There it is. Okay. This might be our best course of action right now. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the win while I've got it. What that's gonna do is it's gonna set us up for future gravity assists. I've got a ton of delta V on these engines once we're done. Ah, motherfucker. No. No. Betrayed me again. Too much. We were going in the right direction. Stupid full flow stage combustion cycle engines. Worthless. Okay, we're gonna make another correction. This is like correction burn number 48. somehow still not correct. Worse. That's worse. Wait, no, maybe that's not worse. That's definitely wrong. Okay, that puts us on the right orbital plane. You know what? All right, screw it. We have activated our ion engine. It's time that we had finally gotten that going. Let me see. Okay, so our RTG is running. Let's point prograde. Okay, we're gonna use the ion engine now because the other engine is just betraying us. We're just wasting fuel at that point. That doesn't really do anything. There it is. That's oh, 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 that's what. Oh, did we get a second encounter? Or are we getting an Earth encounter with that? We might be getting a second encounter with that. I'm gonna lock that because we want a second encounter. And if this gets us a second encounter, I'm gonna do it. In the meantime, okay, so that's firing. We need to burn for 7 minutes. All right, welcome to the long haul, everybody. We're gonna be burning for a long freaking time. Oh wait, we can. I forgot. Ion engines can time warp, which is awesome. Okay. And kill. Perfect. All right. Ion engines can time warp, everyone. This is the proper use of ion engines. They're little maneuvers on a small spacecraft to get big effects. Gravity assists. Hold on. That was the wrong way. That was the wrong way. There we go. We have our nodes extended out. Let's see if we can get a good look at the craft now. There she is. That's our space probe. How beautiful, how pristine. All right. So we've got our first encounter with Mars coming up. And then potentially a future encounter. Are we targeting Mars? We are not. That might be a good thing to target in the future. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to warp. Nope. Yes. We're going to warp to entering Mars' sphere of influence. Here she is, everyone. Hello, Mars. We are here. We've arrived. Gorgeous. All right, we are closing in on it. Here's our first gravity assist. And actually, while we're here, hold on. Not to let a maneuver opportunity go to waste, is there anything we can do on this pass to improve our situation on the next pass? Doesn't have to be much, but while we're here, let's take advantage of the Oberth effect while it's in our favor. What can we do? Well, seems like that's not an advantageous encounter. We can get a second encounter with Mars, but not the good kind. We do that. So let's not do that. Instead, let's see if there's any way we can flatten our... That's also not the way I wanted to do it. Okay, let's trash can this because that's not working. All right, we're not going to take advantage of the O-berth effect. We're just going to orbit past Mars, and we are back in space. Now, we need to start making some big moves to correct our inclination. That's what this is going to come down to. It's going to be a game of putting us on a flatter. That's never going to work. How long would that burn be? 6 hours? 6 hours. Maybe. Let's try it. Let's just try adjusting our inclination by that much. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, we're actually making a dent here. You know what? I think our RTG is able to keep up with the ion engine. That's good news. That's really good news. Okay, that's one adjustment to our inclination. Let's do it again. How much delta V do we actually have to work with here? 4,000 meters per second of delta V. That's a lot. That's a lot. Actually, you know what? Let's, instead of trying to correct our inclination, we're close to an encounter already. Let's make that an encounter. Let's use the fuel to make this an encounter. Not that one. What do I need to do here? Yep, okay, that's an encounter. I'm going to make the encounter, and then we'll go for another gravity assist. Is the RTG a custom part or a MART? That is a custom part. It is literally a light that I XML edited to produce energy instead of consume energy, and I think I didn't tune it super well, so that it's probably generating more electricity than it should in all reality. But you know what? For this mission, it's fine. It would just be a hassle to have to make all the orbits required to like charge the battery slowly with an RTG. So we're just going to do it with a big RTG that can do it all at once. Is it realistic? No. But, oh, I would start ripping my hair out if we had to do this the hard way. Okay, I'm going to make a maneuver 18 hours out. We're going to pause time, and we're going to start fiddling with the knobs again. That gets us not an encounter. I'm trying to get close to the planet. Okay, so that's close inclination-wise. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right? Everyone saw that right there? You see that? So I'm going to trade off a boost in periapsis for a change in inclination. Right there. Lock. I'm going to go ahead and send it. Start the burn. Warp through it. I don't think it's physically possible to rip your hairs out. Bet. Oh, rip my hairs out? Yeah, they're a little short. It'd be tricky. I could use wax. I'll wax my head. I won't do that. To be clear, I will not do that. If anyone asks me to do that, the answer is no. We're just going to go ahead and warp. Time warp through another approach by Silero. And let's lock radially in. Let's take some pictures. There's a camera on this, isn't there? No, there's not a camera on this. We didn't install a camera on this. That's fine. There's Mars. Everyone say hi to Mars. Look at that. Gorgeous. All right. Sightseeing is over. We're going to go ahead and warp out here. Now, it may be a minute before we get another encounter. What we're going to do, I'm going to let this run for a little bit, and we're going to wait till we're close to an encounter, and then we'll plan our next grab assist. Or actually, instead of waiting for fate to hit us, we could burn some more fuel. We're super close. So we could burn some more fuel and get into orbit around Mars quicker. That is an option. Right here, if we burn... Oh, we're so close. You know what? No, I'm not going to waste fuel. We are super close to the right inclination. Let's let it run. Did I call him Silo again? I might have. You know what's funny is when playing in the stock system, I keep calling Silo Mars, but now I'm calling Mars Silo, and that just shows you how little a degree in engineering means these days. Because I am not a smart person. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a smart person. Okay, so as you can see, we're going to do this the super hard way. We're going to call this the Boeing approach to problems, which is stupid. Shorthand for stupid. This is not the NASA or the SpaceX solution to problems. This is the Boeing solution to problems, which is not to come up with a good solution. But what you can see here is our closest point of approach, which are these two white objects on our orbit. Every time we come around, they're coming around in the orbits and they're getting closer together. And at some point, they're going to be really close. And I'll make a little adjustment to our orbit, and it'll get us our encounter again. We're just slowly waiting for that window to come around. This mission has been going on for 19 years, 20 years now. We are 20 years into this mission, and just cruising along. Imagine if the devs had been pronouncing the names of all the planets wrong the entire time. I have argued with Pedro. Oh, here it is. All right, that's what we're doing. I've argued with Pedro on the pronunciation of Sergei. I'm going to call it Sergei, like the Russian name Sergei, because that makes more sense than whatever hoopla they were going for there. Okay, so I'm going to burn prograde, I think. That's going to get us closer, closer, closer. Not too... I don't want to go over. Yeah, I know Foxtrot. I'm familiar with him. I go there. Let's go radially out. That's what he chose? Oh, no. That's so much worse. Oh, right, Circles. Oh, so it's named after... Oh, it's furry themed? Oh, no. And you guys let that happen. Well, I know the competition you're talking about, too. Yeah, I remember this. I remember the competition. I don't remember him winning. It's the furry planet. Oh, it's tainted. It is forever tainted in my mind. Great. If anyone here is a furry, I do not mean to shame you. You can do whatever you want. But I am not a fan of the stereotypes that have been developed around furries, because I've met a couple in person and they lived up to the stereotype and they were pretty awful people. So I don't mean to like bash on your on you know what you like, but not a furry. Yeah, that changes how I think about. Okay, well, fine, I guess. That's canon, everyone. That's canon right there. Sergea is the furry planet. And if you're a furry, that's a good thing. And if you're not a furry, that may be a good thing, or it may just be a thing. That's a thing. All right, here we go. We've got another encounter with Mars here. We have circularized our orbit greatly. What I'm going to do... Yeah, I heard about that. That's kind of old news now. That happened a good while, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we don't want to burn prograde or retrograde. What we want to do... I'm trying to make this a 2D problem. That's basically what I'm trying to do, is make this a 2D problem. Except I lost my intercept. Let's go a little closer. Trying to find the encounter that gives us the most... He'll probably do it again. I don't think he'd do it again. Not because he wouldn't want to or whatever, but because it wouldn't be in his... Like, all right, put yourself in the minds of a successful bomber, right? Like, you made your point, you did it, and you got away with it. And if you lay low, you'll still get away with it. If you do it again, like, you've already got 3 stars on GTA. Don't do it again. Edit the stock system just to change the name. I mean, it's that's fine. I really have nothing. Foxtrot was an interesting person, and kudos to him for getting to actually name a planet that is now permanently part of the game. That's cool. I guess, but oh, there's so many great ideas for names he could have come up with. It's a little disappointing he went with his furry species. Circle. Yeah, Circle. That's what it... Foxtrot the Circle. Well, let's call it uninspired. Never catch me in the snake. Alright, so okay, so we're like... Because our orbits are so similar, I'm really struggling to have any significant impact in my orbit. It would help if I could see what I was doing, you know. But that might be my biggest grievance with SimpleRockets 2, is it's so hard to actually see the effect you're having on your orbit. Let's come around here. I'm going to try to place my burn node along the orbit here. We're going for along the orbit. Foxtrot, if you ever see this video or watch this live stream, congratulations on winning that competition. You deserved it. I think I remember watching your entry, and it was impressive. You did a pretty cool thing with your entry. But man, you chose a bad name. Like, more so the pronunciation than anything else. Like Sergey is not a good name. It's just not a good name, right? Let's face it. It's a bad name. Yeah, I'm trying not to do exactly that. here's the thing. Why is it? Okay, that works. What do I need to do? Do I need to be on the other side? Ah, no. All right, got to start messing with my inclination again. It would be great if I could see the actual effect on the inside of the sphere of influence of what I was doing. Because I'm trying to see where this one tiny little line, but the camera is like zoomed out to solar system scale when I'm looking at a planetary scale. I'm trying to adjust that one tiny line, but anytime I adjust the camera, I lose it. So I'm trying to position the camera. There we go. Okay, almost got it. Okay, so I can kind of see what I'm doing now. That's closer, 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 closer. Okay, there we go. Nope. Okay. I need to go this way. That brings us farther out. Making little adjustments here. I'm trying to get... Okay, we're making progress now. We're making progress, guys. There, okay. So you see how this line is getting longer? The longer a chord is, the closer you are to passing through the center of a sphere. So I'm trying to get this little purple line right here. That little purple line right there. I want that to be as small as possible. And I just realized that I'm a big, dumb idiot, and I was time warping that whole time at 500% speed, like a big, dumb, doo-doo idiot head. And now I've passed my encounter. I've got to do this whole thing over again, because I'm not an intelligent human. Once again. Okay, so we're actually below SimpleRockets. Okay, so that gets us close. Flat. Right there, we're flat. Okay. That was a lot faster. So what that tells me now is I need to adjust. Oop. Okay. Not that way. Okay, so that's close. How do I do human? Apparently I don't know. I'm struggling in a lot of ways right now, people. Okay. What do I need to do? Right. I might need to be on the other side of SimpleRockets for this. Again, it'd be great if I knew if I could see what I was doing, that'd be great. We're on that side, so do I want to go on the outside? I don't understand the math behind this well enough to be able to tell you which side of SimpleRockets I need to pass on to throw myself in a higher order. So this is where the guess and check. Right, so I could pass, like if SimpleRockets was here, I could pass on this side or I could pass on this side of it. I'm not sure which one to do. Jonathan Winters is here on the stream. Hello, Jonathan. Good to see you. I am just... We're discussing a lot of things. We're discussing how bad this system is for, like, fine-tuning these kind of minutia in orbits. Because you can't look at the tool, you can't look at the gizmo while you're looking at your actual effect for these fine-tuned orbits. And then we were also talking about the true origins of the name of the planet Sergea, and I hate it. I hate it more. Such a bad name. All around a bad name. He could have called it Sergal. That would have been so much better if he just called it Sergal. Because then at least it'd be easy to pronounce. But he had to go with some weird, esoteric Sergeia. Ugh. There's no way to say that that doesn't leave a bad taste. Like you chewed something wrong. Like your lips are numb. Can't see what I'm doing. And it frustrates me. Go to Mars using only a calculator. Been done. It's done every day. Not every day, but it's every time that we've gone to Mars actually has been with a calculator. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Moment of truth right here. If I can collide with Mars, and then from there I can adjust my orbit. Okay, so you see we're on a parabolic trajectory with it. Yeah, some people call it computer. If you think about it, what I'm doing right now is getting to Mars with a calculator. Just it's a very very complicated user interface for this calculator. Okay, so now we're on a parabolic instead of a hyperbolic with Mars, and we're about to answer the question, am I orbiting on the wrong side? Did I pass on the other side? Does this put me in a higher or a lower orbit? I feel like that's higher. Right? That looks higher. That feels higher. But again, I don't know which side of the planet I'm looking at. Okay, so that's passing. Passing there gets me up there. Okay, so that's the answer. I want to be on this side of the orbit, right? Block. That's as good as it's going to get for this pass. We've used up 3 out of 13% of the fuel for this this stage, I guess you'd call it. We are using up our fuel. And that is not a problem, but that is what's happening. We're at 3,000 meters per second of total delta V. So we've got to make some magic happen. But our final orbit is higher than our initial orbit, which was the goal. We're going to time warp through. Okay. Go to Mars using only memory and burn nodes. Nope. Not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. All right. So we've got 3,000 meters per second of delta V. Here's a thought. Here is a thought. Let's. This is Jupiter, right? Silly old Jupiter right here. And we're already on an orbit. What if we took this guy right here, and let's just see what 3,000 meters per second direct burn gets. Might be close. It's not. Cool. All right. Got to do this game again. Oh. Guys, spaceflight is difficult. Yeah, fun fact, people go to the moon with only kilobytes of memory. Not anymore, but the Apollo missions used... It might have been like a couple of megabytes, but it was not many megabytes. It was very little. Very, very little information. Let's look at Mars again, because we're going to need to do... Oh, excuse me. We're going to need to do another shenanigan here. Problem is that, yeah, if I like adjust my orbit to get an intercept, I'm undoing a lot of the... Actually, maybe not. Hold on, maybe not. Let's try this. Right, let's try this. Let's see what this gets us if we go to this orbit here, right? Turn the sensitivity down. Let's get this intercept going. Shouldn't be too hard because we don't have to match inclination. We just have to get there. The other direction. Somewhere in that. Somewhere near there. I think maybe I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. Wait, hold on. All right, start over. I should be able to just do this by adjusting my prograde, right? Right? Like hypothetically? Yes. Should. I'm gonna have to make an inclination change again because our last orbit wasn't quite there. All right, so we've got them lined up. Let's make the inclination change. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to be in a polar orbit because I'm trying to gravity assist up to another planet. And it's like it's worked a little bit, right? We have gotten our orbit beyond what just burning all of our fuel in one direction would have done. We've had some limited success with these gravity assists. What's the mission? We're playing around with gravity assists today. That's the big thing. Is gravity assist, and we're doing it in probably the worst way possible. Like we're really bad at this, really bad at this. But you know what? This is more a learning experience. Is this my current orbit or this one? Okay, I had a 50-50 shot and I guessed wrong. Is there a Discord server for this channel? Yes, someone link it to him. I am in the middle of the stream. Someone else link it to him. I should actually just start putting it in the comment of these streams initially. There we go. Is this the right one? Yes, it is. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, the same old dance here. We'll call it the encounter dance. Where we get there and then we adjust. That's probably as close. We're going to get there. Adjust my inclination a bunch until I'm flat, and then right there. Turn my sensitivity down. See, it's a little subtle. Yeah, just copy and paste it. Or copy and paste it into the comments? I don't know. Someone get this man a link. Or just tell him, look, go find a video that I've released. There's a link. There's a link in the description of my videos to the Discord channel. You can do it. I believe in you. This way? Yes, there we go. Right there. Right there. Okay. All right, so this gives us a big inclination change, which we don't want, but it's close. You just posted it? I don't see it. Didn't post it. Yeah, just look in the description. Don't worry about it. Just you'll find it. You'll find it if you want it. In the meantime, we're getting our orbit on. Nope, not that way. Okay, that puts us ever so slightly beyond our current orbit, but not enough to be like an appreciable difference. Ah, he's in the Discord. All right, everyone, we've done it. We have all collaboratively gotten him into the Discord. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for your service. Yeah, I have to like manually approve. Yeah, that last digit is what you need. That's all you need to get to a Discord. Everything else is just the Discord link. All right, I'm going to turn my sensitivity back up because this is taking too long to make any appreciable difference. Okay, right there. Right there. Just this point again. Can I like... Here's the thing. I can like set the camera to be focused on a thing, but then I can't also... As soon as I click away from the thing, it's no longer focused on that. That's the problem. It's like I can have the camera focused on what I want it to focus on. I just can't have it stay focused on that. Yeah, there's no nice way to do that. And that's really frustrating. All right, but okay. Now we can kind of see what we're going to go down. Oh, there it is. There's our collision with the surface right. I go out. Does that put me in a better or worse orbit? I think that's a worse. Yep. That's weird. No, that's our current orbit. There. Oh, look at that, guys. Look at that. Look at that. We did it. Gravity assist. Successful gravity assist. That puts us up. That's huge, guys. That's huge. Look at that. All right, let's make sure I don't accidentally dip into the atmosphere on this path. That'd be embarrassing. Nope, we're good. All right. I'm locking this in. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're going for it. Yeah, this has been going on for a long time. We're not going to finish this mission, but we are moving in the right direction with it. That's the good thing, right? We're accomplishing something. So we're probably going to pick this up again, maybe even later this week. I might do another live stream where we just try to finish this mission. What's the payload? It's not a payload. We're just sending a satellite to... I'm trying to gravity assist a satellite out of the Juno system, but I want to get at least up to Tyto. That orbit, oh, look at that. Kicks us out right there. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to try, before we hit Silo, I'm going to make one more correction, just to try and correct the inclination, which is way off. Plane. A little. Okay, we'll go with that. Lock it. Just a little tiny little change in velocity here. 1 meter per second. Boom. Okay. So that's a little less inclined orbit. We'll take another look at Mars as we pass by. Hello, Mars. Here it comes. Everyone, pull out your smartphones. Take a look. We are flying by Mars. What a beautiful sight. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna grab a thumbnail for the stream right here. This is prime thumbnail time, guys. Let's move in. Just grab this real quick. Woohoo! Got it. All right. And continue on. Goodbye, Mars. Mars looks a whole lot more yellow in reality than than Silero does. Silero is like super red, now that I think about it. What's the Juno system? I don't know exactly what you're referring to. This is definitely not the Juno system. You should know that. Alright, now we just gotta wait for another encounter. While we're waiting for another encounter, we're gonna do one more encounter and then I'm calling it for tonight. While we're waiting, who has an interesting thing they want to talk about? SR2 renders a whole planetary system in real time, both on PC and mobile, and is still less likely than SFS. It doesn't render everything. They're very clever about how they render it. SR2 is super well optimized for what it is. They have done a good job of getting the most out of the performance, and really like it is impressive that you can run it on mobile at all. And Spaceflight Simulator is cool, but it's just Spaceflight Simulator is like watching a community college football team take on the Patriots. When comparing Spaceflight Simulator and SimpleRockets 2, it's just not a. It's not an apt comparison. They're in different leagues. They're not this. They're not comparable in that regard. You know. Making a little adjustment here. They should add a KSP planetary mod. They did. Someone did make all the KSP planets in SimpleRockets 2, if that's what you're talking about. Bravo. And yes, LOD is how they get around it. That's how they can get good performance with mobile devices. You have a really, really short loading distance. Okay. I'll make an inclination change here. Is that more or less? Hold on, crank up the sensitivity for a second. Less efficient? Where's our other? Should be out here then, right? Yep, right about there. That's making it more eccentric. No, that's making it more eccentric. Wait, which way? That way? You know what, screw it. We're just gonna keep. What insight can you provide about the whole mission trailer thing? Oh, cited Ace. That is such a good question. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have no idea what's going on with that. It is a little project we're doing. A couple of individuals who I'm not going to name right now, but there are a couple of individuals I'm working with who are helping me with a pretty big project that trailer is teasing. I will give you a little. I'm debating whether I should. You know, yeah, I'll give you a little hint. It's about choices. The project is about choices. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm very excited. I think you guys will enjoy it a lot. I hope you guys do, because if you don't enjoy it a lot, then that means we wasted a lot of time for something that people ended up not liking, which sucks. That always sucks when, you know, something you think is going to be good doesn't end up being good. But I really do think you guys will enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun now making it, especially now that we're getting into like the final stages of developing it. And this is also not working. All right, we're just going to warp through it. We're going to warp through it. We're in our highly eccentric orbit now. Passing by Mars. Yeah, Bravo, it's cool to have you here. We're going to make another pass. It is the channel's birthday. Yesterday was the channel's 2-year 2-year anniversary. Since I created my account on YouTube, not since I started seriously making it a thing. So yeah, it has been a long time now, and we've grown a lot. We went from, I think, like 100 views a day, no, like 100 views every week now to I think we're averaging like 20,000 views a month. Yeah, laptop is a lot better than mobile. It's just it's a lot of mobile players complain a lot because their phones can't handle this game well, and um it's frustrating because they're playing a PC game on their phone and they're complaining that their phone lags when it's playing a PC game. Well, yeah, of course it's going to lag. You're playing PC game. You're playing something that's originally developed for a machine so much more powerful than yours. It's amazing that you're able to do it at all. It's something. If it's something movie/show related about SimpleRockets 2, then I'll definitely enjoy it. The movies that Matt Lone made were pretty good. It is kind of like that. It is kind of. It's not a show. It is kind of like a movie. You could say it's kind of like a movie. I'll let you guys stew on it. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Watch the trailer. Maybe you'll find some Easter eggs about what it's about. What if you tested and gave feedback on other people's planetary systems? That'd be fun. But I feel like that would be fun. But to really like test a planetary system, you have to play in it. And if like I haven't even visited every planet in the Juno system. I visited most. I have landed on most of the planets, and I have orbited almost every planet in the Juno system. So I've got a decent feel for the Juno system, but it like over the course of a long time. So doing reviews on other people's planets, yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I don't think I could give a good review on just like one playthrough of someone's planet. Let's see how far we're into this mission. We are 77 years into this mission. Yeah, like I don't know what there would be to test. Because the planets are just there. They're just things. The computer generates them and then they orbit and they do their thing. You could test how easy/hard it is to get around. Like RSS is very difficult to get around in. It's a difficult system to move around in, for sure. As I'm demonstrating here by my total ineptitude. So, oh, here's one thing. Here's one thing we can talk about while we sit here and we watch for an encounter. I have had an idea that I wanted to roll out on. Speaking Bravo, since you just joined the server, wanted to roll this out on the Integrated Space Systems Discord server. Is a kind of an incentive program to encourage players to try to visit every planet in the Juno system. I've been bouncing the idea around with a couple other moderators for the Integrated Space Systems Discord channel. This wouldn't be like a competition. This would be like a long-standing thing where you would have like different ranks of progression for visiting different planets, starting with like the easiest things to do, getting off of Drew, visiting Luna, visiting Brigo, and then ending with like getting landing on Handrew's comet would be like the final challenge. What would you guys think about doing that? And then having like, like different what would you call them? Different roles in the Discord server. You could get like a fancy if you explore every planet in the Juno system, then you get like this golden role, Master Explorer. Is that something you guys think would be interesting? Something you'd be interested in? Do you think that would help, incentivize people to explore more? Because I feel like one of the big things that the SimpleRockets community has been lacking for a very long time is the actual drive to explore the system. like Kerbal Space Program, everyone who plays Kerbal Space Program, well, not everyone, but a lot of people who play Kerbal Space Program have visited every planet, and that's pretty common. In SimpleRockets 2, I feel like most players end up spending all their time building a couple of rockets or a couple of planes in high levels of detail, high fidelity replicas. Oh! I'm gonna shut my mouth for a second because we got our encounter. We're gonna pause the game. I feel like a lot of people never leave Drew, right? Like that's the stereotype is there's a ton of people who play the game and none of them ever leave Drew. Very few of them even leave like go anywhere beyond just the moon, I guess. Like I think most people at this point will go to the moon, but then that's kind of as far as they'll explore. They'll go to the moon. They'll be like, I went to the moon. There's 20 other planets I could check out and like a bunch of different challenges, and I could really challenge myself and learn something, and then they just choose not. So that's kind of the idea. Is like incentivize visiting all the planets. Make it a goal with a challenge and rewards. If you can visit all the planets, that deserves some recognition. Because even I haven't visited all of the planets. I've visited most of the planets, but I feel like it'd be cool if you got an achievement. Like that's one thing SimpleRockets 2 doesn't do is achievements. And like, why not do achievements? You visit a planet. Why not make that an achievement? I don't know. It just seems like a wasted opportunity there to make it a thing. Yeah, well, that's true. A lot of people are. The age demographic for SimpleRockets 2 is very young. Okay. We are on our final encounter for the night, and then I'm gonna end the stream, but we're gonna get this encounter. We're gonna boost our orbit one more time, and then we're gonna come back to this mission maybe later this week. Might come back to it later this week. Have I visited Pollux? No. I have not. Yeah, you can base like you can totally base designs off real life ones. That's not even the point I was making. Like I have no problem with people just making replicas. I have no problem with people doing like if you're doing something and it's fun to you and that's how you want to spend your time, go for it. Do what you want to do. I just wish people would like aspire for higher challenges than just I made another replica. It's like great. No one cares you made another replica. Or like, oh, I made I'm the 478th starship, post on the website. It's like, nobody cares. People would care if you visited every planet. That's something worth caring. Building another rocket is not something worth caring about because everyone's building rockets. Not everyone is visiting all the and it surprises me that no one else is like capitalizing on that, on the fact that it's so rare. I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot. All right, here we go. We're close. I'm getting better at making these encounters. If the camera controls weren't so awful, this would be like half as long of a stream. Half of these encounters is just me fiddling with the camera to get it to where I can see what I'm doing properly. Okay, that's close. Let's turn our sensitivity down. There's our collision. Too far. There we go. So we're coming a little high. So our inclination is not going to be perfect, but I don't want to make my inclination. That's how flat. Is that pretty flat? 2.45 degrees. 0.46, 2.7. How does that change it? 1.84. Okay. 2.07. Okay. That one. Perfect. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. It's fairly flat, but okay, that's probably about as flat as we can get it. Let's look now at boosting orbit. Is that all we're gonna get out of this? Can I get maybe a little bit more ahead of it? Right there. So that pushes us up a little bit. For 128 meters per second delta V, that's not a ton of boost. Fix for SR2, adding the Lorentz force so we can have real guns. Oh man, no, we shouldn't do that. As as fun of an idea that is, probably I see that going worse. Okay, we're gonna do that. That puts us on a slightly higher trajectory for 128 meters per second. Multiplayer can bring new life to this game. Multiplayer, I've seen that suggestion a lot, and I don't think people understand that multiplayer is not what you want for a game like SimpleRockets. And you can kind of do multiplayer now, and it wouldn't change. It wouldn't change anything. If you had multiplayer, right? The biggest problem with multiplayer is syncing time with the other players. So if you're doing missions simultaneously, right? This mission has taken real time so far 106 years. So it is obviously not feasible to do multiplayer with no time warp. You would have to do time warp somehow. The problem with that is if one player wants to time warp the system, the other player probably wouldn't want to time warp the system. So you can't have two players working independently, like launching different missions at the same time. There's no good way to solve it. A couple of ideas have been put forward on how you could solve that, but they've not been great ideas. They've been okay, but they've had there've been a couple of different solutions that have a couple of different pros and cons, but none of them like truly shine. The other way you could do it is two players control the same craft. Yeah, one player, two crafts. Or one craft, two players. Maybe that would work. I do not envision that being utilized as much as people think it would. You could do it where one player controls one aspect and one player controls another. I wonder how KSP does it. KSP, I think there's mods for KSP where like you can warp the game and then basically it creates two instances of the game and then you sync the game up. The problem with that is that's basically just the same as playing single player SimpleRockets 2 and then sharing the system back and forth. Like, because of the way we can share sandboxes that you can't do in KSP, there's really no large benefit to doing multiplayer. One craft and each player controls an astronaut. Sure, but who's controlling the craft? You could assign roles. You could assign like different aspects of the craft that a player could control. Yeah, that's basically what it does, but all that ends up doing is you're just playing single player KSP, and then occasionally you sync up and you see what the other player's doing, but then you just go back to playing single player KSP. You're not actually playing a multiplayer game. So I don't think SimpleRockets 2 should do multiplayer. I think that would be a waste of energy, ultimately. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. We've made a lot of progress in our mission. We've actually gotten somewhere. This rocket was a whole lot more successful than the last design. The problem now is actually getting to Jupiter's orbit. We're getting close. We've still got some fuel in reserve, but we're not quite there yet. So if we can get a gravity assist up to Jupiter, that'd be great, but we're not quite there yet. So we'll probably do another live stream later this week, and I will attempt it again. We will continue from where we left off and try to do more connections, more gravity assists up to a Jupiter orbit. Until then, I hope you guys have a great night. Take care. Have a good one, and I will see you in the next video or live stream or chat with you in the Discord server. So, you guys have a good one.